It has shaken my foundations to the core, and yes, I would rather know than not know.
Oh, yeah.
And I get it now, and I'm ready to take action. And it's like, wow, great, that's exactly what we want.
And you never know how many of those seeds grow into, lush gardens.
Oh, exactly, yep.
Yeah, all of us have the creative genius within us and can tap into the great mind, that we all reside in, and can bring forth solutions to problems and ideas that are beyond genius. So
absolutely,
there's no shortage of solutions.
That's right. To me, one of the biggest cover-ups out there is that it's not really a cover-up, but it's the common belief that we are not that powerful.
Yes.
When the truth is, every one of us has amazing power and strength in us. Once we clear away all the clutter that has, come into our lives, and start getting clear on our life intentions and getting clear on the divine spirit within and moving from that place, we can do amazing things. Anybody can. And I just know that. Absolutely.
And, of course, there is a price to pay, and the price of admission is your ego and your illusory pleasures and desires.
Mm-hmm.
And we get sidetracked by so many different things, and I think a lot of that is intentionally orchestrated to keep us kind of locked into a certain matrix or paradigm. But people are breaking out of that pretty easily once they, like you said, once they see the truth. You can't deny it.
Well, what happens, though, is some people, when they find the truth, they go through a period, which is very understandable, of being angry and upset. I can understand that, but once you get through that, you can then see you can actually have fun while we're transforming the world. And I love this, and I love the people who really come from that attitude, like Swami Byandananda. You may know him, Steve Behrman.
Oh, yes, he's terrific.
He's great. Another one, the guy who did Pronoia, Rob Bresney.
Oh, yeah.
He's like a world-renowned astrologer, but he's written this book called Pronoia, The Antidote to Paranoia. And he knows about the deep cover-ups and everything, but he says, hey, come on, it's just a divine play, and he says, evil is boring. Let's have fun doing the transformation thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because evil can only take you so far.
That's right.
It's a dead-end road, and once you're there, well, okay, so now you own the world, and you control everything. Now what? You got to work to stay there, and if you're on that side of the fence, then that's a lot of energy to be spent on maintaining your position,
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's never enough. It's always more, better, and different. So,
right.
It's a sad and kind of pathological path.
Mm-hmm.
And I did notice that one of the companies that I occasionally keep an eye on is Monsanto, because they're trying to take over the entire seed distribution.
Yep.
And they've been doing some very nefarious activities to basically force farmers to use their Roundup Ready genetic modified seeds.
Yeah, in fact, we actually have that as part of our course in a lesson on health. There's a great video out there. What's the title of it? That exposes all of this. I'll find it for you in a minute.
Well, in the meantime, apparently there's I just read a couple of days ago there is the possibility of a federal lawsuit against them for an antitrust lawsuit.
Wow.
So we'll see if they have the cojones
right.
to battle Goliath, because that really is Goliath. They throw money, at the lawyers like it's toilet paper.
Right.
And then they run ramshot over all of the people who are trying to just earn a living.
Yeah, they're definitely one of the less responsible, more greedy organizations out there. Yeah. And if people want to watch that video, it's another one that's available free online. In fact, we got permission from the producers to post it on one of our websites, so we actually have it posted. If you go to wanttoknow.info, and there's a row of links across the top, and go to the health link, and underneath there you just press on Best Free Videos, and it is the one, Corporations Contaminating Our Food Supply. And there's a very interesting aside. You'll like this, Lance. This, about 2 or 3 months ago, my partner, occasionally I still do interpreting gigs for private groups.
Oh, okay.
And my partner, who I work with, we do simultaneous, and there's always two, called me up and said, "Hey, I have this gig in Hawaii. Are you available such and such dates?" And I said, "Sure." So I said, "All right, let me check, and I'll let you know once it wants to go." And he says, "Okay, it's a go. And by the way, the company we'll be working for is Monsanto."
Oh, no.
And I said, "Oh, no, do I really want to work for Monsanto?" And I had to really think about it, and I thought, you know what? When I was working for the government, I saw some stuff, and then I got to blow the whistle, and it was an important piece.
Right.
For listeners who may not know, I was actually on the front page of the Wall Street Journal because I blew the whistle on some big stuff the government was doing. And then, so what happened was I decided I'll go ahead and do it and just be quiet and see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, then it turns out the people at Monsanto, they have a blacklist. And they went down the blacklist and they found my name and they said, Fred Burks cannot work for us.
Oh, my.
And I'm like, wow, well, I must be doing something right.
That's right. That's right.
So that was a pretty funny aside, yeah.
Very interesting. Well, of course, one of the big things that used to bother me quite a bit, it still occasionally gets underneath my skin, are the chemtrails. Mm-hmm. And, that of all of the various shows that people have done and the news programs and the 2020s and the so on and so forth, it has yet to hit the radar.
Yes, I agree, and I'll tell you, I don't really know yet. I know that something is going on with chemtrails, but the thing, I often use my logic here. It's like these people who are doing this don't want to harm themselves and their own families. Mm. And so the chemtrails, to me, it's like I know these people have family in some of these major population areas. And so, though I know they're doing something, I can't imagine they're actually in some way deeply harming people because they would be harming their own families and people. So it's one of those things where, yes, I know something's going on. I know they found, what's the substance that they found in it? Begins with a B? Can't remember, but they've actually found some substance that's been proven, but it's not super deleterious towards health, but does have some damaging effects.
Well, they've also found various toxic metals and blood fragments and
blood fragments. I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, there's a site called Carnicom.com, and they have pictures and research that Clifford Carnicom has done over the years, and he's probably one of the most knowledgeable on the subject. So
great. How do you spell that? Carnicom?
CARNICOM.
.com? Carnicom.com?
I think so. And if you look up Clifford
Yep, there it is.
Yeah. And, I mean, you can go down any one of those avenues and investigate. Now, my feeling about all this is that the people who are pulling the strings from above are outside the system that we understand. And those people who initiate these programs who might be the only ones who know the true purposes of how they interact with various things or what they're really for, their families are either underground or safe.
Well, I'll tell you that totally could be true, and one of my suspicions, having worked inside government, is that there are a number of factions that are using the chemtrails, and different factions have different intentions in using them.
That would make sense.
Yeah, and so that, yes, some maybe the scenario you're laying out, others may have different scenarios. I believe that some people may even be using it to try to stop global warming. You know, there are various factions, almost always, this kind of technology, it's not just us, the Russians have it, the Chinese have it, but even with our own intelligence services, there are factions that are fighting against each other, and sometimes we'll have different agendas.
Well, yes, and then what about the fact that we're not the only ones with HARP?
Exactly.
There's HARPs all over the place.
That's right. Yeah.
We're going to all be playing our HARPs if they don't stop messing around with them. They can control the weather and do earthquakes in other countries and storms and so on and so forth. So
yeah, and for those who don't know, HAARP has been very well researched, even though it's gotten amazingly little publicity. Jesse Ventura is being the best I've seen yet. There are key people, for instance, Nick Begich, who is the son of a U.S. congressman, the brother of a U.S. senator, is one of the top researchers on HAARP, and he is showing it like it is. He's saying, look, they are doing crazy stuff manipulating the weather. They can now even target people with mind control waves using this HAARP technology.
Yes.
And this is somebody who's very highly respected, and many others have come out, and all you have to do is, by the way, it's spelled, for those who don't know, HAARP, HAARP, if you want to do some research on that.
Right. That's good. That's very good. And what I like about your site is that you cover so much. It's almost like one-stop shopping,
That's what we hear from a lot of people, because there are a lot of great websites out there that focus on, let's say, 9/11 or even HAARP or all these different things that really do some good work, but very, very few are trying to bring it all together, particularly using the most reliable, verifiable sources out there.
Yeah,
and I continue to be amazed that there aren't many websites doing that. There's a few people trying, like Alex Jones, but Alex Jones, he's great, but he's so biased about some things that I think it really doesn't work for me and many other people. I mean, we try, though we have an agenda, the agenda is to expose what's going on without drawing conclusions.
Right.
We generally avoid drawing conclusions, but we put out, here's the evidence, and what do you think's going on? And we have ideas on what you can do about it.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's really the best. I think it's the best way to do it, and it's empowering.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you have one system of control saying, "Well, this is what you need to believe because this is what's going on."
Right.
You need to do something about it. Well, that's just another form of control and manipulation.
Right.
If you get people to think for themselves, and maybe they won't see it right away, maybe they'll take to it like fish to water, but
absolutely. And the more people who become aware, the more the pressure will be on for our political and media representatives to really start covering this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I'm excited. We're getting up close to our 5 million visits to wanttoknow.info.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're definitely having a good impact. We're getting about 100,000 visits a month.
It's one of the best sites on the internet, really. I mean, it's one of the few sites that will keep coming back to over and over and over.
Thank you.
And I've hardly even tapped the surface of, all the wonderful programs you have there and the inspirational programs. And it's just such a well-rounded, diverse set of different approaches that, you talked about that earlier, and I just can't say enough to people to check it out because it's solid information.
Thank you.
Your information, I mean, after all, you did work in the White House. You had to have your I's dotted and your P's and T's crossed.
Right.
And so you have always taken an approach of getting it right.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, one of the fun things, we're getting more and more support from key people. In fact, just today, I got a letter from a guy named Mark Stepnoski, who you probably don't know, but a few of your readers who like football probably will know. This is a guy who played for the Dallas Cowboys, who won 2 NFL Super Bowl championships and was in 5 straight Pro Bowls. He was a top player in the NFL, and he's become a strong supporter of ours. And he even wrote a quote in support of us that I just posted today. So he sent us a $500 check and said, because I'd asked him in the past, like he's been in contact. I said, would you be willing to write something? He said, yeah. And it took a while, but got it today. It's like, yay.
All right. Hey, that's wonderful.
And then, of course, David Ray Griffin, many people know from 9/11 movement, he originally found out about it from our website, and we have a quote from him on that.
Oh, good.
And then we have some other cool people like, have you ever heard of Brad Blanton from Radical Honesty?
No, I haven't.
There's a book out called Radical Honesty, and Brad Blanton's, he's kind of a pretty unusual guy who can be kind of in your face because he's all about, let's not hide anything from each other. Let's just be absolutely radically honest. And it's too much for some people, but some people really like it. And he loves our website because, you guys are telling it like it is, And so he's wrote some support. It's been really great.